Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and on this channel we talk about all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, yes my friends, you've come to the right place, and welcome to another Throwback Thursday where we give you some sort of fandom news and then we do a throwback movie review that somehow relates to it in a roundabout way. So today we have to talk about David Arquette possibly being in the new Scream movie, despite the fact that Dewey died in the last one. And our throwback movie of the week is Urban Legend. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so you may have heard the rumor that Dewey is coming back to Scream 6 despite us seeing him die in Scream 5. This comes from the actor David Arquette's interview in which he said the following: I think my character had a really good role in Scream 5 and had a lot to do. That was really nice. We'll see. Yeah. He laughs and then he continues. Who knows? Anything is possible. I mean, how many movies have Jason or Michael Myers been in? Not that Dewey's a killer, but there is a coming back to life element within these horror films. So a lot of people are saying that this kind of means that he's hinting that he's coming back. Is this possible? Could he in fact be coming back to life in the new movie? And if he is coming back, in what capacity and how are they going to pull this off? Well, I think the answer is a lot simpler than we're looking at it as. I think a lot of the people have started to kind of get the vibe that if he is coming back, it's not going to be a literal comeback. It's not going to be, oh, Dewey is magically alive and survived. But that is certainly what it seems as though he's hinting. Now, I, like many other sources that I have read and seen and heard, think that this only means that he is coming back in the same capacity that we got Randy in. Some sort of flashback or video set up to where we see him. Gail Weathers is writing a book. We could see her thinking about him in some sort of flashback. Maybe she's watching some footage of them together from one of the other movies that incorporates something that has to do with this particular movie. She finds some footage of his last case, which was the Scream 5 killings. Something in it sparks her interest as she's watching, and she sees something she recognizes that helps her to solve this new case. Because we all know whether or not they solve it or fall into it, they always end up at the end with the unmasking. So if she doesn't, at least she can give the information to the other people in the movie. I think that it's a very real possibility that Gail Weathers won't make it through this movie, but the fact that they would bring Dewey back in some small capacity is entertaining in its own right. Now, let's entertain for a second the idea of him coming back to life for real, because that is also something that has been thrown out there. Several sites back when Scream 4 came out were saying that Dewey may be the other killer, that Dewey may be the mastermind behind it all in place of, like, Stewie, when it was the possibility that Stu was going to be the mastermind and that whole thing fell through and they did Scream 4. And then they did Scream 5. It kind of ran into that as well, that there was some other mastermind. One of the names thrown out was Dewey, saying that he blamed Sidney for the death of his sister, or possibly that he loved Sidney from the beginning. And you could kind of see in the scenes of the very first movie where he does seem to kind of have feelings for Sidney. but probably as an older brother. I don't think it was anything like he was romantically in love with her. But it's possible that later on, as time progressed during the college ages and stuff, during his breakups with Gal Weathers, that he may have developed feelings for her. But I think if he was some sort of mastermind, he would have had to have been in on it from the beginning, which would make him really horrible. And then, did they fake his death? And the impact of such a thing would take away from the impact of the scene in which he dies. And it was a matter of contention among fans. A lot of fans were split on his death and how wrong it actually was. They could not have done this. The killer that did it could not have done it. And all this stuff came out and people debated and debated and debated. But that's part of a movie in itself. That's a good thing about a movie, is to be able to sit there and debate the plot and wonder why this works and why that works. So I don't think he would be coming back as a mastermind at all, but entertaining that idea, what would that mean? He did say not that Dewey's a killer, but he did compare his character to killers. So I'm sure that rumor is going to start to gain traction once again, just as it had before. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it's going to be a flashback? Do you think it's going to be him as some sort of mastermind, having been in on it the whole time? And that's why he escapes so many times. And then this last time he just couldn't do it. He's getting older or whatever, for whatever reason, needed to be out of the picture, needed Gal Weathers to think he was dead. What do you guys think? Now let's jump into our throwback movie review of the movie Urban Legend, a 1998 slasher film starring a lot of the teen idols of the time, including Jared Leto, who would later go on to play Joker in the DCEU. Now, it had a lot of characters that you could really fall in love with in this movie, that you could really like, and some that you totally disliked. And the movie was full of humor. It treated itself very smartly in that regard. It was very much an homage to Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, in that you were being chased by this killer, but you didn't know who the killer was. So the main characters of the movie are being offed in ways that are very urban legend, after they are part of a class which is which is taught by none other than Robert Englund. What made this movie really unique was the fashion in which the killer killed people. See the title. It was all done in the style of urban legends. So you got some urban legends such as the killer in the back seat. You got the Pop Rocks one was thrown in there. Pop Rock's urban legend was thrown in there in quite a funny moment. You also had Bloody Mary. You had the Gain initiation, the Gain headlight initiation myth. You had a bunch of urban legends that were thrown into this to incorporate these kills in a very unique way. And I think the movie did a good job of making you wonder who the killer was. At the time, I didn't know who the killer was going into the movie. There wasn't a lot of spoilers on the situation. There wasn't anything where people were ready to spoil the movie or ready to hate on the movie. And the movie didn't make a mega box office. I mean, it was sort of a blatant ripoff of the films of its time. It borrowed, as I said, heavily from Scream. It borrowed from I Know What You Did Last Summer. It really paid homage to these movies the way a lot of movies of the time were doing. It became the popular way to go. If you want a successful horror movie, you look at Scream. And that's exactly what they did here. Now, the movie has some originality to it, and if you like urban legends, I strongly recommend you check it out. Some of the ways that they do these urban legend kills are very unique and very worthwhile to watch if you're a horror fan or a fan of urban legends in general. So definitely check this movie out if you have never seen it. I give the movie 3 stars, and the reason I give it 3 stars is because, yes, you get really hardcore Scream vibes from it. You definitely know where they got their material from. The way the kids are savvy and everything else is very much like Scream. So that's why it gets 3 stars. It does sort of lack that originality of if it had tried to do its own thing. But it still holds up, and it's still an amazing movie, and I do recommend you try it and check it out if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comments. So leave us that comment. Let us know what you think. YouTube likes it. We like to hear from you. Also share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this conversation as well. Remember to hit that like button because YouTube likes it. It helps the channel and we like it too. And then also, Miko says we need more subscribers. He plans on being around for the sequel, and he wants you to be too. So while you're hitting that subscribe button for Miko, go ahead and hit that notification bell too. So we'll see you next time and you won't miss a single video. And at the end of the day, friends, remember this: fandom is family.